Medic 400. Huh? Okay.
We need to talk to you about blood draw.
That's all they do.
So don't let me forget.
Okay. East Umatilla County Ambulance Area Health District Medic 400 meeting called to order at 6:31. Chris Werland present.
Christine Erb.
Chris Williams.
Mark Albert.
Waiting on you, Ray.
Ray Denny.
Thank you.
Andy Cornell.
Okay. All board members present. Health administrator present. Dave Beatty is out. Meetings from last minute. I want to motion to sign the board meeting verification. Document serves to confirm that the meetings from the previous meeting of Medic 400 have been reviewed and hereby approved by signing below. The undersigned acknowledges that the recorded minutes accurately reflect the discussion and decisions made during the meeting. The meeting was March 19th. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I move that we approve the minutes from the March meeting.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay, it's been moved by Christine, seconded by Chris Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, 5-0. Okay. Christine. Okay, approve the agenda. I have a couple additions I'd like to add. Number one being the secretary job. We do not have employees, but I would like a little bit of discussion, and also our bank accounts with username to have a motion to add Jessica. I guess last month we discussed it, but we didn't actually complete the motion, and we need to do that. So I would like to add those at the end of new business. Any other changes? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the edits?
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Okay. It's been moved by Chris Williams and seconded by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 5-0, moving along. Treasurer's report.
Well done. Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any conversations on the treasurer's report?
I think, the treasurer's report is absolutely fine. I'm just going to echo my comments from last month that we're going through an awful lot of cash. And I don't think we've hit the makeup pay yet, right?
Do you mean for the PERS?
No, I mean, for the back pay that is due the health administrator.
No, I don't think that's been,
Yeah, that's still to come.
yeah.
But I'm gonna meet with Andy next week and go through some budget stuff, and I think Jessica, you're gonna be there.
Okay.
So we're gonna look at some budget stuff and see if we can make heads or tails out of stuff and how we can hopefully brighten the situation a little bit.
Okay,
But as far as the financial report, I move to approve.
okay. Do I have a second for the treasurer's report?
I'll second it.
Okay. Been moved by Chris Williams, seconded by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, 5-0. And payment of the bills.
I move that we pay the bills.
Okay. Do I have a second? Ray, you gonna get in on this one?
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Christine, seconded by Ray. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, public comment? Okay. Old business, community involvement.
I don't have any update on my end on that at this moment in time.
Okay. We're still on for the blood drive in June.
Yep, I was gonna talk about that on the other, but I can talk about it now.
Oh, I see it down here.
So how are you, however?
However you want to do it.
We'll jump there for this moment in time. So with Dave not being here, it looks like during that time, I do want to make sure that we're still on board and seeing Andy if there's not going to be a lot of manpower that we're going to need, but vehicles are going to need to be moved out of the bay and that sort of thing. So I would like to continue on with it. I think it's going to be good for the community to do that, but I don't want to add too much on your plate.
I don't see that being a problem.
Okay.
If it's not a manpower issue, yes, manpower is something, but I think if it's just moving vehicles, I don't foresee that.
Yeah, we will need like one or two of us to help. There is like a 2-hour window. I'm gonna need to go to another board meeting in Walla Walla, but if we can talk about that, and Heather will come from the Red Cross and visit with you and I and just kind of go over logistics on that. So that's it.
If I'm needed to help and I don't have to look at the needles, I will be fine.
You don't have to.
Get behind a curtain so I don't pass out. I can sit at the door
Perfect.
if you need me.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
We had someone from the community come in last week asking if we could have some of our on staff go to the community building while they're serving dinner and do blood pressures for the seniors. So that's something that we're looking into, with the understanding that if they get toned out, they're leaving.
Sure. We did actually have it scheduled because I had previously talked to the individual, and what had happened is it was on the calendar, and at
That was
11
the
o'clock,
911
that was the 911 time. So
Oh, yeah.
we didn't get a chance to do that this last month, so hopefully this month we'll be able to.
I apologize. I didn't know you guys
Oh, no,
had
that's
spoke
okay.
about it.
That's okay.
I think that's a great thing. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Right.
we're not outrunning a call. That's great community interaction.
Yeah.
And that's once a month, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They actually have two. I asked if they wanted both. They said no, just once a month. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully in the future, they'll gain more support in feeding the seniors. Milton Free Water does it, and it's a really good thing. So hopefully we can get out there in the community and meet these people and get to know them.
I also know that currently, as the weather is getting better, we expect our risk reduction team to start making more efforts to involve the community in defensible spaces and potentially setting up meetings to go over how they can make their properties. So, yeah, so with the weather getting better, that's planned as well.
Great.
Within the city limits or up Highway 204 or
So,
both?
so the risk reduction team works anywhere where wildland meets district members' properties.
I know last year they did a lot up to a four,
Yes. Mhm.
but I think they still did some in town, didn't they?
A little bit, and
A little
we'll,
bit.
when we roll into the fire meeting, I'll talk about that because I went to a meeting that, in Hermiston the other day that was very informative and I would like to talk about it at that time.
Perfect. Awesome.
Something else, Christine and I have been having little meetings with employees and whatnot, and something that James had brought up was the fire yard sale
Surplus.
next weekend. And so I told him I would bring it up. Anybody that can take a 2-hour block of time and go into Adams and sit at the thing. If they get toned out, they're gone. Then they don't have to shut down if one of us is there. Would be priceless to them. Even if we're just there to hang out and have a hot dog. But especially if in case they get toned out and have to run, because they don't know how many will actually show up to volunteer time. So, but if we can keep it open and at least know what we're allowed to sell and price and whatnot. But if you guys can do a 2-hour block of time, let James know.
Will they be sending out like a calendar or a time frame or anything like that for signups? Just because it would be nice. I
I
mean,
couldn't get him to verify, so I sent out the email to all you guys. If you have a block of time, we can write it down here tonight and give it to him, pass it along or whatever. But
That was gonna be my question. Did somebody put a calendar together?
Yeah, like was it
sign up genius
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
something.
That'd be helpful. I bet
At
a
the
supervisor
meeting?
can coordinate that with him.
he wasn't positive at the time that they were gonna be open yet. So. But. I can do morning, okay, I can do afternoon, whatever. So, and I guess it's supposed to be Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So. You got a couple days to play with. But. Okay, any other community involvement?
Not at this time.
Okay. Merging the districts is still kind of on hold unless you've heard something different. Okay,
I can update now or I can update later. It's not much of an update.
I don't want to take it off old business, but. We don't,
No, it's probably good as a touch point.
Yeah.
Looking forward here, there was,
the one on stage? No, that's not.
yeah,
Oh,
was that the one? You got that email too then?
I did.
Well,
Well, you sent it to me. But I thought that was more of the stronger.
I've been getting too many emails lately. Well, I consider that and merging the district kind of the same thing these days, because that's really what it's gonna take to get us there. This is very unprofessional.
Yeah. Totally.
Okay. Yeah, so, essentially, the Stronger Together initiative, they're gonna wait till the fall, to meet with respective organizations that allow us to get through fire season with staff and first responders more available. Every entity has signed the MOU with the exception of Milton Free Water Rural and CTIR. CTIR is still completing its approval process, which typically takes a little longer. I think they've got a few more hoops to jump through, but they'll be ready to finalize. So I would imagine, I'm not sure if they'll get Milton Free Water Rural there. But again, Milton Free Water Rural isn't rural in the sense of a rural fire department, so that's, yeah. That's good news to me if everyone.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Sounds like
absolutely.
everybody's on board pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's the update.
Cool.
Yep. Okay.
Thanks.
Repayment of scholarships,
Moving forward.
moving forward, okay? Back pay. It's my understanding that we got numbers and you have decided, did you do that contract up?
I didn't get to it today.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on my letter to present to whichever board to.
Basically
That's
half
fine.
on to your 401ks and half, Yeah.
To articulate what I want when the money comes out, where I want it to go, plus.
I guess on the medic side, I'm glad it's handled. Let's finish it up, but technically the fire side has to pay,
Right.
so. On the medic side, we're good and moving forward. Okay. Stronger together, we kind of just went over that. So new business. Monthly equipment status.
Will sent that out. Nothing with the ambulances. They've been going just fine. We did get a new video laryngoscope in and
A video, what?
laryngoscope. So when they go to put the tube down your throat. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
There's a little camera that you can actually see. Ours went down and does not work anymore. And we went for a refurbished model and it doesn't work. So we're gonna have to spend a little more money to get an updated model. If we're doing that, we probably should look at actually getting for both ambulances. So if something happens, it's probably,
And how much is a little money? Is that 1,000 or is it 20,000? That's just a rough estimate.
I think I spent about $2,300 on just this refurbished one. So it's gonna be a.
If the 2,300 didn't work, do we get that back?
No, I'm going to get it back because they asked me if I wanted a 6-month warranty. I said, no, I want a year warranty and I'm glad I have a warranty with it. So
Good.
I'm gonna call them tomorrow and say
Ain't no working no more.
it showed up not working.
Yeah, it arrived today and it doesn't.
Oh, jeez.
I want to
Who was your gunny bag to make sure it didn't work?
make sure it didn't work. No, you can just.
Jessica's, no, not in my job description.
Part of the text is we put it together and actually turn it on. You can add, it's like having a camera on the end and you're going around looking at people and they're like, what are you doing? So,
Okay.
but it didn't work at all.
And we'll make sure when you do buy the new scope that we'll take it out of the equipment replacement fund, right?
Yes.
Is there money in there?
Yeah. Today.
Okay. Health administrator report. None, and none.
None. Couple transfers, but really nothing to report. We're gonna start getting reports on. I'm gonna have Blake from TBG with Jessica's help. We're gonna see what the profit margin is on that when we do our transfers, because we need to see is this feasible for us to keep doing, or do we need to find another avenue? What I'd really like to see us do is have ALS providers, the advanced life support. That generates a lot more money, but we're limited on what we have, and if we don't have enough, we just don't have enough.
Mhm.
So
it's been a while since we've seen a report on billing and collections from the billing. Would you get that for next month for us?
yes,
Thanks.
And actually, if we could get that every month, would be good.
Isn't that from Blake?
Yes.
And see, he promised he'd send it, and I've not seen any of them since then,
Okay.
so. Okay. Merging business meetings.
Can I back up just for a minute?
Yeah.
On the monthly billing, does that also have like the past due amount on there? Because we need to be seeing
How
that
much we
as
have.
Yeah,
well.
it should
and
show the
aging on it.
The aging, yeah.
So it just, if you will make sure that
Yes.
that is on there as well.
Because we have a policy of, how long it goes before it gets turned over to collection. So yeah, we need to make sure that that policy is being followed.
And I'm sure all of that's been taken care of.
I lost my train of thought. Okay, merging business meetings. Did we find out anything?
No update.
Okay. Christmas tree giving tree, Easter egg hunts, Caledonian days, Hadaka days, community rodeos, and do we want to consider putting a request form on our website? We have a lot of community members that had brought up some complaining at a different meeting about us not supporting one Easter egg hunt versus another that we had always done and whatnot. And I was chatting with Christine and we thought, you know what? We have so many things that happen out in the community, so many things that we've donated to or whatnot financially. What about putting some type of a form online that the community can pull it off and say, I'm having an Easter egg hunt, I'm having this, can you support us? Can you give us $100 or can you supply a couple volunteers and something to that effect? So we kind of wanted to bring it to the board to get you guys' thought pattern. Things that we might want to put on this form. Pretty much, if you're asking for our help, what type of help are you looking for, whether it be financial or, have the guys stand around in their uniforms, what are you looking for? Kind of like food bank. Our guys go down and help haul the mussels and bring in all the food and help sort it and whatnot. So instead of trying to remember, oh, we did this last year, do we need to or whatnot, having an actual form that community involvements can come to us and just ask us. Thoughts on that?
I think we need it. I'll speak for the Hot Lakes because we're constantly asking them with other organizations for donations. And right on their website, they've got a great form. You just fill it out. You submit it. Then there's a paper trail for the request.
Yeah.
It's easy if the phone rings and Jessica answers and they're asking for something that she can direct them there. And as me with the community involvement piece, not that I have to be in the middle of all of that, but it would be really nice to see what's coming in as well. It's not our responsibility to go and ask somebody if they need our help, in my opinion, for an event. They should be coming to us. And if we've got this policy, then there's nobody out in the public that's saying they didn't do this or they did that, or I mean, it's just accountability for them, the community, and for us as a district. So I personally would love to see that happen.
I think I agree partly with what you say, but I do think there is a little bit of positive image that comes from being proactive and doing things without being asked. So like going to the football games and sitting there, the school isn't calling the ambulance and saying, hey, why aren't you guys here? I did that once last year, but because you guys hadn't got the schedule.
Well,
But
to your point,
I mean, it's they're being proactive. They're being there. It's not that the school had to fill out a form to be there. I mean, and I don't want.
Type of thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I was.
Can you
It
give
sounded
me
like
$50 for the,
it just sounded like volunteering. Hey, we would like you to come down and sit here while they're doing this, or. So yes, I understand that financially. Yes, I get that, but I think there is something to be said about being proactive, going to the Hodaka days. It's a motorcycle event. You're probably going to get somebody hurt, so they're going to be proactive. They're going to be there. It's just yes, to some degree, yes, having a form to fill out. I agree with that, but also if some of our guys are like, hey, we got this event going on in Helix, how about we go sit there? Absolutely,
there are certain events like the Helix Rodeo.
Mhm.
They pay us to sit.
Okay.
And so there's certain ones that we actually make money
Mhm.
to sit and twiddle our thumbs in case a rider gets hurt or
Right.
something to that effect. But this was more of, actually, it don't matter what of, just give them an avenue that they can say, hey, we're having a yard sale, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
So.
I agree with you, and I think us being out there is super critical.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to discourage that. I even think as board members, we should all have t-shirts when we're showing up to events and letting people know we should be proud that this is an organization that we're a part of, right? But the form just helps with some of these because we hear about it, they didn't do this and they didn't do that. And we're like, okay, there's truth. We didn't, but
we don't know.
we kind of,
And there's a lot of times where we've been called just at the last minute, like to help out with the high school. They've had instances where the other team shows up and they don't have a physical trainer there. And I get a phone call, hey, can you guys show up? So I come down and ask the guys, hey, you guys mind going? And they've been more than happy to go. So I really appreciate that. So we are getting out there. Yes, it's a last minute thing. It's a quick request, but it also shows that we're willing to engage even when something falls through.
Right.
Kind of a backup, but yes, they know that 911 knows we have to go.
So, and I understand like on football where it's a very contact sport, I wouldn't expect an ambulance at Angelina's tennis match, right? But are there sports
Mhm.
and things that we should kind of maybe discuss, like, or events or whatever that, hey, let's, if available, have us show up on? I mean,
We used to. I don't know if you guys do now, but Rochelle was a big one that would go out.
yeah.
But her kids were that age too. And so they would sit at the football games or, well, actually, she's your wife. Jennifer Davidson, they would all sit down there at those football games or show up at the basketball games and, technically by 6 o'clock, you're kind of off shift, even though you're still on a 24 rotation. Grab the ambulance and go down and enjoy the ball game, I don't think there's one that we really aren't allowed in. So.
How hard is it to put a form? Are you the web?
I'd have to look into it.
Are you our webmaster too, or?
Theoretically, yeah. I don't do a whole bunch with it. Yeah. I hate doing web. But I can find out from the company that does it, find out how we can do it. I guess my concern is, one, we're already struggling to man transfers because nobody really wants to come back because they enjoy their personal time, which is 150%. Okay, I get it. I'm not here 8 hours a day either. I used to be years ago. And at what point is this not devolving, but changing into a lot of philanthropic stuff? And community outreach is important. But I mean, yes, I'm using some of your examples, but a garage sale, I don't want to go to.
This is Ray.
I mean, I'm a fire guy in EMS and stuff, and it just seems like we're really getting down that, well, let's go to everything that comes up, and we can't even man the, you know, the transfers and other critical care stuff like that. So it just seems like almost like we're putting the cart before the horse. So there's a lot going on with the staff and everything that's happening, and
I think on the form, it gives us the right to say nay or yay, you know, and really, it's the essence of this came about because of a financial request, you know, that came.
and we do have, this is something I wanted to resolve, 4 years ago, I just kind of never went anywhere, but the Athena Volunteer Fire Department has an organization, a foundation, has, you know, does some fundraising things. It's still AVFD, whatever it's called, even though AVFD doesn't exist anymore. Eastern Minnesota Rural had a similar one that I've really completely unrelated, well, it is a name, but it's completely unrelated to the fire department. It's not run by the chief, wouldn't be run by Annie, wouldn't be run by me. It's just anything outside of that would be the equivalent of that. I'm just trying to think what else you'd call it, but basically it's like a foundation.
Auxiliary.
It's, yeah, well, kind of, but it's tied to the fire department, but it's not overseen by the fire department, you know.
Right.
It'd be like East Umatilla, you know, Fire and Rescue Association or Friends of, or something like that. And that's really what, I mean, Athena was its own organization. We're putting money to, somebody 4-H had a pig or something like that, and they put money towards it. But the fire department did. It was really that organization. So I'm almost wondering if what you guys are talking about, and when people ask for donations, really that needs to be an impetus for, and I can talk to John, and Bill was organized, or was with the, you know, the one here, and we need to get that into one organization, rename it. Because it was actually a 501 or 503C, had the whole deal, was all set up. I wonder if we really need to readdress that and get that fixed, and then that's where that stuff would be directed. So.
Yeah.
It kind of seems a little more appropriate to that than the fire department, which is technically a government agency.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that's the one that John
People
Wright is,
people asking for stuff too.
you know,
Yeah, well, that's supposed to be too.
associated with, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing we do at the roundup every year, I mean, that, you know, generates funds from that for the week that we're in there. There's some other things we've done as well. So really that all falls underneath. I don't know, just something that might be a more appropriate avenue, and then there's oversight of that too. I mean, there's people managing it separately.
Ray, did you have something, Ray?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely agree with Jeremy. If we don't have the crew to take transports, which are money makers, and we also have to worry about our transport times. And now that we have full-time employees, if they're off somewhere on the far end of the district and we don't have an ambulance nearby, a crew that can take their place, then all of a sudden we go from a 10-minute to half hour. If Ray's stuck under a tree up here and you guys are in Helix and that's the only ambulance crew, I'm not going to be very happy if it takes you an hour and a half to get here. So I think we need to be worried about response times and income. And I think the public needs to start getting the message that we are running out of money and we've got 3 years or less, and the public's going to have to, the board's going to have to deal with, but the public is going to have to realize that it's not the good old days anymore. So I know that's not a good public opinion, but you have full-time unionized employees, and that's a whole other dynamic. I had this same problem at the tribe for 12 years with the fire department there. It was hard to get them to do these kind of events. You know, you get overtime and stuff, and trying to keep an ambulance crew was hard over there. So, you know, I think there's some special events that we can plan for, but I think the ambulance, we have to have a backup plan. Who's going to be at the station if we get a call? And we can't have our ambulance crew out in the far end of the county somewhere. You know, that's
Especially
my opinion.
Padaka days, because I mean, if they're running the race, technically, I believe they have to stop the race if our crew has to go. So usually we try and get a second crew on tap that will take the call or whatever, because otherwise they're done. So I don't.
Same thing with football games. If
There's
there's
a rodeo that way too. I don't know if the rodeo stops or not.
I think it
I think it
does.
does. Because
Yeah,
when,
because we've actually had,
Yeah.
I think we even had Pelton come out once and take the patient.
Yep.
After, we checked them out. They transported, we stayed.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay,
So I guess my one last point would be, Andy, can you come up with can you come up with a coverage? Can you talk your guys into doing coverage so that if we go on all these events, we still have an ambulance there ready to make the calls within a specific amount of time? That's, I guess, my question for you as far as how many of these things we're gonna do.
I mean, to your point, creatively, with to your point with the union guys, I mean, they get first right of refusal on any overtime. If they choose it, then we have to worry about that overtime cost. So that does incur a cost. If we can get the reserves to come back, if the union guys don't want it, there's a plus there because we're not spending overtime hours. I know we're looking at a volunteer on the EMS side. Getting volunteers is pretty tough because of the amount of requirement for medical training. Although they do once in a while have those, but if we can get a volunteer corps of EMTs at the basic level and have them go out to those events, I feel that's a good idea. Or, if one crew member says, hey, I want to go, and they're both EMT crew members and the crew's split, I mean, we can figure that out. I'd have to talk to the crews about that to see how comfortable they are with that. But I feel there's ways to do this, but we just have to figure out which way we're going to work this.
So I would say that they have to be planned. We can't just take them all, and only if you're able to put together a backup crew or have EMTs go to these other events while the paramedics are out there. I mean, there's gonna have to be some tough decisions made.
Yeah.
well, I think in the past though, Ray, and I'm gonna use Rochelle. Sorry, Jeremy. Rochelle and whoever she was working with that day, or Jennifer Davidson, whoever she was working with that day, it was after hours. And so they just go and watch the ball game. It wasn't about necessarily being on duty. They would just go and watch their kids or whatever, but we were a show, we showed up. And so people got used to the or the ambulance technically being there. And, of course, if they needed to call 911, we were 5 feet away instead of across the street and down a half a block, because we were stationed there in Athena and they were at the Athena school. So I think it was more of, I want to go see my kids, but I still wore my shirt and my ambulance was there. And so it wasn't necessarily mandatory. I don't know that we got paid to be there at the football game. I think it was more of just, we're here to see our kids and we're being part of the community and we're showing our people off as they were there. So I think we're switching the point. We're not there to make money. We're there just to socialize with our shirts on type of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but is it that the football game stops if the ambulance
No.
leaves?
I was just looking up OSA, it doesn't require ambulances.
Yeah, there's been times they haven't been
Okay.
and they still play the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And some of the other, pretty sure that.
Because then it brings up another thing. You guys out in Helix started a football team this year. So
We did.
so if
Yeah.
they're not requiring it,
Well, the
But
other
if
thing,
maybe if something like that, maybe like Mark would be willing to take the Explorer down there.
That's just what I was
You
just
know,
gonna say, yeah.
And we
get
still have a
somebody-
presence there.
Right, just some sort of presence there.
And I think, so for me, I think it's a good thing to show up to these community events. We can't always guarantee to be the main helpers, because if we get toned out, right, the crew's gotta go.
Absolutely.
For me, I have a more of a hang up on having a form to request donations, monetary donations, because we are a taxpayer funded to provide emergency services to the district. And so I think our money should be spent promoting health in the community and not, I don't know.
Easter eggs.
Well, yeah, Easter eggs, candy bars for Girl Scouts, or, whatever,
Right.
whatever those requests. I mean, and personally, I personally support, a lot of things in the community, but as an organization, I think we have to be careful to stay with the mission that the taxpayers are funding us for. So I think we just need to be very careful.
Well, and maybe in the past, and I don't know, maybe it was your friends of the fire department people who were donating.
Yeah.
But I know this year, we did not donate to Weston's Easter egg hunt, and they were quite upset that we supported Athena's instead of Weston's. And I wasn't aware that we gave money to either side.
Well, thing is, they get the eggs donated for free.
Okay,
They're real eggs. I didn't know anything about Weston. I knew they had one over here, but I didn't know who.
evidently, every year we have donated to them for the last many years, but where that money came from, I don't know.
No, there is some sort of organization. Bill knows about it. Juan was involved. George Cisneros was. I don't know who else.
Okay.
I was never a member of it, but
John's involved, John writes, because he and I had a conversation about them doing the breakfast and other things,
Right.
the Pendleton Roundup.
right. And that's specifically still, again,
Friends of the fire department.
tied to the ABFD, but I think it should be combined with whatever. Again, well, I can find out from Bill in the morning and let you guys know what it's called.
Okay.
It's not a name and all that, but it's specific. There was two separate, because we didn't, Don and John had a great time hassling each other. So we really didn't cross-pollinate at all. But over here, East Umatilla or East Rural had their own, and Athena had their own, but there's no reason to keep them separate.
I guess I'm hearing this, that we have Easter. It's one time a year, same day, we have two events. Why not necessarily push them together, but maybe get those two organizations together where they can get the donation a little bit bigger, and then they have that,
Well, and technically,
spread that out more.
there's 4 Easter egg hunts. There's Adams, Helix, Athena, and Weston. And so my concern was if we, not friends of, but we were donating $200, why don't we do 50 apiece? But I wasn't aware that that was ever a donation number, or, I'd never heard of us donating to the Easter egg hunt
Yeah,
until I overheard the
And I think when John
complaints.
talks, he's probably still talking about the ABFD one. I don't think he's involved at all, to my knowledge, with whatever still exists over here.
Okay.
So, but it sounds like loose ends that need to be.
Tightened up. And I do know there was a check that was written from Medics for the Christmas tree. This was not this last year. It was a couple years ago, and it might have been when Sheila was still there, and came to us and asked, but I specifically remember seeing that $100, $200 run through our books.
Okay.
Again, that's been a few
Couple
years
years.
ago, but and I do agree with you. You know what? That ours is taxpayer money, and
Yeah.
maybe we shouldn't be a part of this at all.
I personally think that the form is a really good idea because the community gets the opportunity to express a need somewhere, and you guys would have the power to say no. And you don't have to say yes just because you have a request, but having it there eliminates well, this has happened every year before. How come it didn't happen this year?
All right, Matt.
That's a fair point. When you said combine the two, did you mean the two friends groups? the outside group?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
just
Yeah.
get, they get together, cause like John gets all the eggs.
That's good. I think that's probably the better venue because it keeps it free and clear of any of this stuff. Um, and it takes it completely out of this room or the entities, and it's a nonprofit. It's
Yeah.
yes, it's linked because it's friends of the fire department or friends of the blah blah blah, but it's not
No blurred lines.
It's not like we don't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's totally separate, managed by whoever sets up the entity. I think, you know,
Well, and maybe the.
I would be in
14th
favor of
specify.
supporting that entity to exist and use, you know, the fire department as the, you know, I don't know, the pillars.
We don't want the fire department proper to be.
Yes,
say
but
no to
it's
everybody
not a
putting us in that
subset
place,
of,
we'll say no.
ours or our budget or
Right.
anything else. It's a separate entity that uses East Umatilla Fire as a, like, yeah, we're,
Well, maybe the form needs to say, are you looking for money? Here's the friends of
Yeah.
info. Are you looking for volunteers because we need muscle for the food bank to help? Then the fire department may be able to assist or something like that.
because I see it as a few different things. This is a good discussion, but I see it as a couple different things. Putting an ambulance at a rodeo or a football game is different.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, because some of those are paid, right? They're paying for us to be there, or if we're supporting some event that's, you know, they want to pay us, we can probably staff something for them, right? But that's going to come out through the district. If a duty crew is going to a basketball game in Athena and parks the ambulance outside in the fire truck zone and goes in and watches the game until they get toned out, like, full support. I don't think they're, to Ray's point, they're not at the far edge of the district. They're kind of, they're within a mile or two of where they would respond from anyway. It's kind of that after hours piece. I don't think we need a forum to request that. I think we just, you know, that's a management decision to allow folks to do what they need to. So they're kind of different buckets, I think, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah, if somebody wants help with a food bank, I don't think that's not an unreasonable request, and maybe a forum does that.
Well, I think our guys do it every month.
But it's, yeah,
I don't know after this discussion if we really do need the form. I think we direct them to these other entities. And that could be on the website.
And get John's name and phone number.
It's an item I would table for now. We need to.
Yeah.
Find out who's involved with what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will just drive something down.
Yeah.
There's no point in doing so.
I like friends of
I was actually political, friends of.
the library.
School district and.
super PAC.
Okay, moving on. Bank accounts, LGIP accounts, Amazon accounts, QuickBook accounts. I would like to make a motion to, at least on the medic side, to add a user, not a signer, a user for Jessica. We discussed it last meeting, but we didn't actually put a motion out there. So I would like to see if we can do a motion to put her as a user on the website bank account and LGIP accounts, and also Amazon and QuickBooks. Does that make sense?
So I just have a question about the Amazon, because Amazon requires a credit card to be linked to it. Do we have a credit card issued to Jessica?
No, but it's a clerk one, and it's issued to Andy. So Andy would have to approve it, but she would be able to use it.
on the cards already, well, you'd have a separate one, because the chief already has one that we use for regular orders and stuff like that, and we're supposed to turn in a PO.
I guess my question is, does this follow our cash
Regular
management policy? To have her as a user on the Amazon account? That's all I'm asking. Does it follow our policy?
It is my understanding it is a blanketed one, and it doesn't specifically say secretary can, whatnot. I know Joanne had access, and we are taking Joanne off, which it's my understanding we did motion for that last month.
No,
Okay, so we need a motion to remove Joanne from bank accounts, LGIP accounts, Amazon, QuickBooks, and any other accounts as a user or a sign-in, and replace her with Jessica.
or a clerk position. It doesn't necessarily have to be Jessica on them, but the clerk position needs to have access to those.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I think for the purposes of the motion, we have to put a name to it, and then if there's a
Okay.
new person coming in,
Correct.
we have to put that name in there. We can't just leave it open and blank, kind of a blank check.
Right.
Whoever's in that
Also-
position can get,
Otherwise,
Yeah.
figure that out.
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, to the QuickBooks, the account owner of the QuickBooks is Chief Beatty. I've been in touch with QuickBooks, and his login information is expired. He never logged into it. His is the only one that can manage the sub account. So,
Can we make the district the owner of the account?
yes, we
Okay.
can. And if, now that I know who we would want to assign as an owner, I can move forward in that process.
Oh, great.
Doesn't require an email account, though, if the district doesn't have one.
I think
It does.
HR, but legal people. Do that.
No, I can't quite hear you.
Would we want the district to be the owner of that account, or would we want our HR payroll management to be the owner of that account?
Well, QuickBooks has more than just HR.
Right.
So
But-
it
But if they held it and then could give out sub accounts when they need to,
But if we decided to do something different with their payroll services,
Mhm.
then we would need to be the owner. I'm not saying that we do, like this.
Yeah.
So I would almost say the district and whoever was in charge of the district, which would either be Chief Beatty or Andy, would have that primary
Mhm.
and ability to sub it out.
Is
But
it
we need,
specifically Chief Beatty at UFR, or is it just chief at UFR?
It's fire chief at UFR.
And so whoever we get as a new fire chief would have that same email.
Mhm. But the problem is that the login is invalid. It technically doesn't exist currently. So there's no way to manage the users.
I say they should be able to reactivate it.
So they said that that could be done. But that the process that I'm looking at doing, it would have to be done afterwards anyways, so it's an extra step. So if we can figure out who we want as owner of that, I can just skip the first step and go straight to the solution.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is, as far as, you know, you said the district doesn't have an email, but if the
Staff
chief,
people do.
if this chief specifically has a email that whoever is sitting in that chair uses that email address, then I'd say district as owner and that email address.
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion. Because that shouldn't change.
And if they're entry on, and there is no fire chief, you know, a month, 2 months, whatever it is, I can set that as an alias, an email alias on somebody else's account, like the clerk, or what, I mean, the clerk already has, the BUS business manager at as an alias on it, so it's not like email's gonna get lost or something like that. So. And it is Intuit, they don't do.
But we're not talking about an email account, we're talking about the QuickBooks account that has an email as the
Right.
username slash login slash whatever. So it's irrelevant what email account
opens it?
what the username is.
Yeah.
Correct.
You just need a new username so that they can,
Well, it's gonna ask for
somebody can go in
validation.
there and set that.
It's gonna ask for validation, that's gonna have to go to me, I'm saying I was taking,
Yeah,
otherwise you'll never get it.
Okay, so we want to use the district as the primary and fire chief as the email.
Whose QuickBooks account is it?
Currently, the owner is fire chief at EUCAAHD.
So then that's not a motion.
That's not us.
Is the Amazon account Medic 400?
No,
So in this meeting, all we can do are bank accounts and LGIP.
Yeah.
Okay,
okay.
then
Yeah.
I move to add Jessica as a user on our Bank of Eastern Oregon accounts and our LGIP account.
Okay.
And to remove Joey. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Chris, seconded by Mark to remove Joanne as a user and add Jessica as a user on all bank accounts and LGIP accounts. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Ray?
Lost Ray.
Muted.
In fact, I was muted.
Do you agree or disagree?
Oh, I said I agree.
Okay, 5-0. Okay. The next thing and last thing is right now we're getting ready to be down to fire chief. And there is a lot of work in the office. And with talking with management and also staff, it seems like at present, close your ears. Jessica has been a great help to both sides, both management and employees. They both have spoken very highly of her in one way or another. And we would like to possibly not make a motion, but I would like to see how our board feels about if fire agrees to move her to a 40-hour week, that we support that motion. Does that make sense?
makes sense. I would like to know what the buyout cost is
Okay,
for express personnel.
Okay.
What that looks like, how much time is left on that?
okay.
Kid, at the other day. So it's every week it goes down.
I don't think
Because
it's covered.
technically we would be required to pay half. And so I would like to know if we support that without making a motion, but at least support it going to the fire site. Andy's checking.
I would like to know what the additional workload is.
You're on,
So I've taken on the responsibility of handling any document creation, document management. I've been going through and I'm still going through the document storage in the building. The organization as far as documents is in a sad state. I've had to create documents from scratch that we already have, but can't be found. I've also, let's see. Yeah, grants take up a lot of time. I'm currently working on requesting an extension for the risk reduction grant that we currently have. Final reporting was due for that 2 days ago. there's still a considerable amount of money in that account, and we would like to, of course, use it.
Sure.
I also put in an application for the wildfire staffing, but that's the fire side of it. But I've taken that on as well. Just, it's a lot of, normal office duties. Copies, emails, making changes to things like point of contacts for the bills that we get electronically and things like that. So it's really, I mean, I could give you a day by day, but it's really just a lot of administrative work.
So I guess my question is, do these enhanced duties have a time frame, or do you see this as an ongoing need?
This would be an ongoing thing. I see it. With policies, with handbooks, when I went to the SDO conference this past couple days, the handbook for us needs to be, it's a living, breathing document. It needs to be reviewed every 2 years. So that's something we would be constantly reviewing. We're constantly putting in policies. I'm still working on the recall policy. I've pushed it forward to the union just to give them an idea. She helps me with, ideas, something we don't think of, checks my grammatical errors and corrects me, but she's been very helpful in a lot of ways. The grants, I had somebody questioning me about the grants, where are we at that? And I said, they're all squared away. And so I've had her do research for me, find me what I need, and then it's made my job much easier. I've been more efficient.
And right now you're signed on for 20 hours a week?
Yes.
She also has walk-ins, telephone calls, up some days and down others, but it's there.
I'm not in support of Jessica, so please don't take it that way. My concern lies in more of, we have 6 staff, I don't understand the additional fire staffing, so I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
But we have 6 staff, plus we have a full-time administrator, plus we have at least a half-time chief's position we're looking at. And we're looking at a full-time office specialist, if you want to call it that,
okay,
to support 6 full-time staff plus whatever the fire staffing looks like. I'm concerned that we're getting a little top heavy on administration. They're administratively heavy, let me put it that way, not top heavy, administratively.
And we're also paying a pretty penny for Pendleton to help us out.
Right. So to me, my concern isn't against Jessica.
Right.
He is a very capable individual, but I also feel like Andy in this chief's position that we're looking at the staff are going to have to do some of those things. Or we have to rethink all the positions in general. That's just my general comment. Like I said, you're a very capable person, and I would love to employ you full time. It's just we have some serious financial constraints. So
I know that in the past, when we were just in Athena, staff did a lot of paperwork. Does that happen at all anymore?
Union probably doesn't allow it, do they?
They have some duties assigned to them, but as far as staff, like paperwork, no.
Michelle did a ton of it,
Yeah.
but she's
Yeah.
also on the regular staff. And,
Yeah.
they didn't have as many people, but yeah. She just has a scientist to get.
I think for me, I'd be willing to support like a set duration of additional hours right now as we look at our budgets and positions going forward. That, I'd fully support that right now, but as far as a permanent 40-hour, I couldn't vote yes for that tonight.
Okay.
But for 2 months or something, to start and then evaluate our positions and needs, I could start some months.
Once we figure out the budget.
Right.
Okay.
And how we're gonna, fill our chief's duties, all those, and who's doing what, and so I can support a shorter term bump, and then reevaluate.
Okay.
That's just me. That's just my voice.
I just know that with the things that I'm doing currently, I'm frequently going, past my time, and I don't have enough time to complete what I'm being asked to do.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be full time, but just with the workload that I have, it's the 20 hours isn't enough. If it was maybe 30 hours or something like that, just a little bit extra, I can get more done. But I completely understand, it's just, there are some financial responsibilities right now that are,
And when you have stayed after, we are paying you that overtime or that additional.
yes.
Honest.
And
Do we?
Not always.
Do we have a copy of how does that work? If the contract with Express Personnel, is it set hours? It's probably set hours a week up to a maximum of whatever.
Hmm.
If you work more than those hours, do those count towards the total out? Like
It
how-
does, yeah.
So how does this, I guess,
I haven't technically seen the agreement, so
do we have a copy of that, right?
Yes.
So I'll boil it down to a math thing. If it's 20 hours a week for 6 months, if that's what we got into it, right?
Okay.
We're looking at 520 hours or something like that in a contract. If we're working on 40 hours a week, that 6-month contract is now 3-month contract.
Correct.
yeah.
And we're gonna buy out of it a lot sooner, right? And so if it's math's in our favor, and I know it's a public meeting, I probably shouldn't say this, but that could be a way where we could burn through that contract. We'd have more, more hours available to get the work done. And I know that over the next 2 to 3 months, maybe a little bit longer, through this transition, while we have to redefine the organization and what it looks like from the top
Yeah.
down through. We know where the staff's at, but the piece above it, we've got to admin and management. We've got to sort out what that looks like.
Hmm.
And so I know I'm not voting on this right now, but I'm with Chris. Like we've got to make some pretty tough financial
Yeah.
decisions here going forward in the future. And I wouldn't be ready to support a full-time admin person either.
Okay.
But I know there's gonna be more work in this transition.
Yeah.
But that's a slippery slope, right? Where hey, it's 40 hours a week now. We're gonna reduce it to 20 hours a week again in the future, and it's always tough to go backwards. And so, because we've set a new bar, a new precedent, and it's tough to back off of that.
Mhm.
So, that's where my mind is at.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
I wouldn't be asking for it if I didn't feel like I needed it, because I know the state of things.
But the contract will tell us if there's an early out option, or no, if we're into it for 6 months, no matter what. Like we've got to look at that to see what.
there's an early out, but to buy her out, you just pay for that.
You just pay for the hours. But
Yes,
if we're gonna
I
pay
have
for the
to.
hours either way, let's just pay for the hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Great.
would you be willing to move for more hours of up to 30 a week if needed?
Well, if we're buying the hours anyway,
Yeah, if we're on the hook, it doesn't
if
matter.
we're
if
on the
we
hook
use
for
some
the
money.
hours, it doesn't matter.
Uh,
Honestly, it just means that 6 months is gonna go down to 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
If that's how it's set up, but I don't know, so we
Yeah.
can't really make a decision until we know some of those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how about that?
Copy of the contract.
What if we just say we support additional hours as needed for our administrative specialist, clerk, whatever your clerk, is that your new title?
Yeah, clerk.
Or, through the rest of this fiscal year.
So through June 30th. Okay.
And then, and that gives us time to reevaluate what things are gonna look like
Get our
and our
budget in
needs
order.
and, like Matt said, we're gonna pay for those hours at some point anyway. So if she needs them to get us in the right position now, I would support, I'd make that.
Okay. well, I can't ask that a true motion because we're not fire, but
That
we
we're
would be
supportive.
paying half anyways,
Mhm.
so.
I would like to know about the contract.
Did you find
Because if
what
there
the
is an
payout-
additional higher fee for over 20 hours a week, then we would need to know that. If it's the same rate that we're paying
No
you
matter
right
what.
now for another 10 hours a week, whatever it is, then that's kind of a moot point. But
I agree.
seeing the fine print, I think is critical.
So what is the buyout as your email of last week?
And I don't think we need to get into the weeds with this tonight. I think that a full I mean,
A full
Is
copy
what
of the
I'm-
contract? Okay,
I can get that email out tomorrow.
okay,
That'd be good.
okay. Anything from the board? Ray?
I'll support out the buyout.
Nothing from me.
Okay, Christine?
I'm good.
Chris?
Nothing here?
Mark?
Nothing.
Okay, so, meeting is adjourned at 7:56.
We need a motion.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
No, dude.
I'll second it.
Motion moved by Chris Williams, seconded by Christine Erm. All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Aye,
I
7:56.